So what we have here is oil, crude oil being turned into heavy oil residue. The heavy oil residue is then refined into rocket fuel by diluting the residue into diluted fuel first. That diluted fuel from this layer is sent up to this layer to be made into rocket fuel. And because I don't have enough nitrogen and sodium coming in, we've used the rest of it into turbo fuel, which is being packaged and awesome sunk right now. And then up here are the actual generators producing our power. I can actually duplicate this entire top layer right now and produce double the amount of power I currently do without having to add any more fuel production capacity. Because I'm actually producing enough fuel that I could actually do all of these twice over. This place is pumping out over 40,000 megawatts of power. All right, so consumption-wise, we're hitting in between 20 and 30K. We're using about half of the power. This max consumption is going to go down when we start deleting stuff, so that'll give us a better accurate model where we're at for when I'm going to need to add the next layer onto this. But right now we're about halfway through, which isn't bad. And then our power augmenter, which I'm still not sure what's got to be fed into this because it has an input. Like, I'm not sure what gets fed into it to increase its input, or to I don't know what that does yet. There's a conveyor belt in for it. Not sure you can focus for that long. Well, that's the funny thing. Like, every other time I've played this game, I have petered out at the 200 to 300 hour mark. We're over 600 hours into this, and I'm still going with no end in sight. And I'm loving every minute of it. They have made enough conveniences in 1.0 and enough improvements that it's kept me hooked. The big things was the bigger blueprinters, which allowed me to do much larger builds blueprinted. So like everything in here is a blueprint. Like every single piece of this place is a blueprint. The bridges connecting the center are a blueprint. The center is a blueprint. The floors, the production lines are all blueprints. The factory floors are blueprints. The conveyor belt systems are blueprints. The pipes are all blueprints. So like I just snapped all these pieces together, and the actual construction process took very little time. What took the longest amount of time was connecting all the conveyor belt pieces together and pipeline pieces together and dealing with the fact that the game kept crashing. Like, the actual generators up here are in blocks of 4. So putting down 4 of these generators with all the power connections and the pipelines ready to go is actually super easy. See, this whole thing is one place. Then all I had to do was connect this pipe in right here from this line, and it was done. And guess what? Also a blueprint right here. So, you know, it's all been just blueprint after blueprint. So when I add the next layer in, it'll actually be super easy to do and won't take maybe an hour to build another entire layer of this. The thing that'll take the longest will be hooking in all the pipes. The rest of it will be super easy. But, like, all of this is blueprinted pieces. So, like, I just, you know, in 6 block increments, we're building this highway out. It takes no time at all to go somewhere. The biggest downfall there is running out of material and having to wait for the dimensional depot to fill back up. So it's really between the dimensional depot, the bigger blueprinters, it's made this game just infinitely playable for me. I'm loving every minute of it. I mean, well, let's head over to J. Ferrum, and I'll explain what happened there, and then we'll go over to do what we need to do next. We're going to turn that off. We'll turn off the J. Ferrum exit. Turn off Route 7. That should do it. Have I made a death ray? No. No, I haven't. I'm building a space station that's going to be a death ray, okay? It's going to poke a hole in the universe and nuke everything. And, you know, I mean, I could have ended the game already. Many times over. I am so close to being able to do the last phase parts that are up there, but I wanted to get the factories built properly and efficiently, and I wanted to upgrade everything to tier 6. So I've been working on that for the last, 3 weeks now? So 3 weeks ago, everything you've been seeing did not exist. I refuse to comment on that on the grounds that it may incriminate my programmers. So this is our new primary facility. We're heading over to the J. Ferrum facility, which was our old advanced materials factory that I tore down and rebuilt. Which will be part of the last 3 weeks worth of work. Is this upcoming facility right here. So this whole thing was also part of the last 3 weeks worth of work. This was located closer to the waterfalls over here. And was slightly smaller and wasn't really working well for me. Yeah, it was right here. Like the back side of it attached basically into that ledge over there. And, you know, we were taking advantage of the oil and the bauxite, but it wasn't very good. So I tore it all out, put in the tier 6 system, which was considerably larger, so I had to move it. And that made it closer to our original old factory. But everything being produced here is now being shipped via conveyor belt to the new primary facility. And then we're not doing anything over in the old facility. It's basically just sitting there taking up dust. So we can get rid of it all now. And that's what we're going to go do. So I'm going to reconfigure the destination here. I'm not doing return to home. I'm doing the old home. And then I'm going to jump in. See, this was our old primary facility. And it's so funny how it feels so outdated to me now. But, like, there's still lines producing here. But we can get rid of them all now. Because we're going to be able to reproduce everything at the new facility. I've ascended, huh? Well, this was all built using a smaller blueprinter and tier 5 instead of tier 6 belts, which changed all the numbers. And every time I did this, I learned better ways to do things. Like, I realized after building these layers, I really didn't need bridges going out on every layer. They're kind of in the way. So I stopped doing that after this floor, and I just angled them off. Well, in the new factory, I continued this line across the front of that in the blueprint instead, because it looks better. I also thickened up the layers to make them look a little nicer, a little beefier. And, I came up with better ways to do things, and it all looks and feels a lot better. Also, this is a single conveyor belt system, and that's where I realized I needed the triple redundancy. Because I was pumping all sorts of materials in, but it kept bottlenecking. So I needed a way to get around the bottlenecks. And I did so with the triple redundancy. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by disconnecting our inputs. So, like, that's going to get disconnected.
Lamk has begun employment as a henchman after being recruited by Kragrak.
Thank you for that gift sub, Craig. I appreciate that. Alright, so I'm going to start by disconnecting a lot of our input lines, so that we're not bringing in raw materials. Because, like, this is why I realized I needed triple redundancy, because I ended up having to bypass around to get the materials to where I needed it, so it would produce, so we could have enough smelters running to produce the raw material, use the raw materials we had. And it's kind of become a ridiculous thing. But, like, deleting this place is going to be a nightmare, but it's going to be worth it. We don't need the quartz coming in. We can get rid of that. We're not producing anything quartz at our new facility, but that's because I need to get a source of quartz over there. And the best sources of quartz nearby are already in use, so I need to clear that out. Deuterium can come out. What is this? Nitrogen can stay for now. What is this mess? There's an input line we can get rid of. Oh, there's a couple here too. That's going to be limestone and caterium. Okay, I know what that route is now. There we go. Go ahead and get rid of that. One of the things I did with the new facility is I eliminated bringing in all the raw materials and set the smelters up on site and had just the ingots being shipped in, which has helped to simplify the factory a bit by doing all that stuff off site. Alright, I think that's all the raw materials. But we had drones and everything running back and forth, hauling stuff all over the place. It was a giant mess. And it was amazing how quickly I realized that moving things between facilities was a problem. And the train was not a great solution for me. And the drones were okay, but not great either. Which made me realize we needed to reprioritize what got constructed where and how. And try and centralize everything a bit more into one mega factory. So, like, the raw materials can be processed into their basic components, ingots. The ingots can be then sent into the main factory to be used as needed. The exceptions to that will be things like the aluminum products, the aluminum casing, the all-clad sheeting. I make those and ship them from Ferrum over to the new primary facility. Okay, those are 2 input lines we got to get rid of. There we go. Oop. No, target the damn conveyor belt. There we go. Yeah, and as these lines empty out, it'll be that much less stuff sitting around. Junking up my inventory as I delete everything. Okay. Like, I don't even know what this drone port delivers anymore. Oh. Iron plates. Don't need that no more. Alright, so I need to set up a disposal area. The awesome sink. The stuff. Let's just do it up here. Special. Wrong thing. That's the other reason I'll be happy to move this building out of here, is to get out of that flight plan. Had I realized that he was going to fly right through this thing, I would not have built like this. But I think he causes a bit of lag too. There we go. So then we can do that. No power? What? How is there no power? There's power there. What the fuck? Yeah, see, we're connected there to power. There it goes. That's weird. That connection's not right. Anyway, it's another reason to get rid of this place. I love getting rid of things that's fast. It's great. There we go. All right. So things should be slowly petering out. I know a lot of things are overflowed already. But see, we had all of these conveyor belts practically, I mean, up until this top layer. That's what? Coal? Yeah, no, we were using most of these layers. Good God. Come on, highlight it. There we go. I'll get all the blueprints first, then we'll start deleting the pieces left behind. Alright, now we're set to do only Mark V belts. Lifelong pioneer, yeah. Our coal factory, our coal power plant over there can be torn out too. We definitely don't need it anymore. None have seen before, yet there are crashed ships all over the place from previous pioneers. I'm thinking eliminating the drones will help unlag too. Be that much less going on. Originally, I was going to try and upgrade this place, but I very quickly realized that was a waste of time. It would be such a pain to try and modify this to be tier 6. Because all the math for all the blueprints were done based on tier 5. And that limited things. Just upgrading the belts wouldn't have really helped anything. Like, there were certain core issues that we just couldn't get around. And I can't even say for sure that the new factory is going to resolve it, but I have ideas for expansion on it that should help. Because that triple redundant conveyor belt system gives me a lot more options for additional inputs and outputs. More factory! Absolutely. I mean, seriously, can you guys remember the last time I spent 600 hours on any given world? I can give you one hint. Volcano. Okay. That factory over there can be torn out too. That's our failed nuclear factory. That's why I first started doing a redundant conveyor belt array. But I only did a double redundancy. And realized very quickly that it wasn't enough for the fluid pipes to have only 2. So I needed a third. And also, we have to ship too many parts over there with our configuration currently. It don't work. So there were too many things I had to send over there to make everything work right. So that whole area is basically nuclear waste right now. It is highly radioactive. Let's go empty our storage. Visibly pushed. Whoa. Honestly, we could sync those two, really. Alright, let's go out and get rid of the rest of these drones. I'm tired of them circling around doing nothing. Auto saves lagged me out. There we go. We'll probably still use drones when we set up the nuclear facility. But we'll do things very differently. I might set up a train to haul everything I need over there. Because I'd never done nuclear before. I didn't know what all was needed. And I did not properly set up to transport goods over to that location. I know this theme song. I can't remember what it's for. I know I've watched this anime, but I'm not sure which anime it is. And the title does not tell me. Oh, it's Hunter x Hunter. Never mind. The artwork told me. Alright, we should have another drone port or two over here.